the other chair's not as squeaky? This chair's so squeaky. This chair seems less squeaky. I'm switching chairs. Less squeaky. Less squeaky. That's great. We'll be starting the stream here. If you're watching a replay, just fast forward a couple minutes and everything will start. I'm just waiting for people to come in on this live. What's up, Maz? Over here from TikTok. By the way, if any of you are wondering, my handle is Daily Crypto Bull on all the platforms. This one, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Which Twitter? I don't want to call it X. It's Twitter to me. What's up, everybody? Drop in the comments if you just come over from TikTok or you just tuning in right now. What's up, Antonio? Julie's over here from TikTok. Got 10 people on here. Let's get a few likes. Be sure to hit the like button. Let's get up to at least 5 likes. What's up, Mitch? Let's get up to at least 5 likes, and then we'll get started right back where we left off over on TikTok. I think you either just kind of swipe up a little bit or turn your phone sideways, something like that, to hit the like button. We're at 2 likes. We got 10 people on here. I'm going to get to 5 likes. We're going to start. Got 3. Oh, teleported to 6. All right, let's get into it. So here we are looking at that Pengu chart that we left off at. See, this is what I was talking about. Like, that was where it came out, right? So that was all-time high when it was brand new, and then it went down over 90%, which makes it almost free. And then it's gone up 10x, back to an all-time high. I just wouldn't be buying here. I just don't think it's the best opportunity in the market. By the time the bull market's over, or the cyclical bull market, do I think it's going to go higher from here at some point? Yes, I do. But I just don't know if it's the best opportunity for me. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Someone asked, is Bitcoin going to go up? And I say, yeah, Bitcoin only goes up. It's all it's done its entire existence. And I'm going to show you a chart that lays that out exactly, right? This chart right here starts in October of 2009. And what do? We went high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So this chart has been nothing but going up its entire existence. Okay? People refer to these as the bear market. These are cyclical, that's the word, cyclical bear markets that last about a year, that happen periodically within a secular, which means super duper long term, a secular bull market for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin will continue to go up, and one day it will flip the market cap of gold. Market cap of gold. Let me show you something. Check this out. Gold is the most valuable asset on the planet. You could say real estate, I suppose. But gold is at $22 trillion. NVIDIA is the second most valuable asset on the planet at $4.2 trillion. Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and look at number 6, Bitcoin. It's above Google. It's above silver. How do I get rid of this thing? Whatever. But one day, Bitcoin will be number 1 on this list. And if you doubt it, you have not been paying attention and you don't understand Bitcoin and where the world is going yet. That's just the only thing that I can say. So Bitcoin's got, and in that meantime, while Bitcoin comes up here to pass gold will probably be going up even more. Right now it's at that much an ounce and then that much of Bitcoin. So gold will be higher, but Bitcoin's still going to flip it here eventually within the next probably 5 to 10 years. Why? By the way, let me ask you real quick. Why is gold the most valuable asset on the planet, like I just showed you? Drop in the comments, why is that? This is so important to understand. Read that Bitcoin could be 13 million by 2045. I mean, you can read all kinds of things. It seems in the realm of possibility, though. Strict supply and demand, scarcity. All of those are correct, but in and of themselves, not the complete answer. Let's get a few more guesses. Because I could go sign a t-shirt I wore in Little League. It'd be the only one. It'd be very scarce. Doesn't mean anyone wants it. So that's the demand side, right? So is there more demand than supply? Yeah. So supply and demand do matter. That determines the price of everything, right? But gold is the most valuable asset because it's the highest valued form of money. And it's been around for thousands of years as money. And to be clear with you, everything is money. This mouse right here, a red light, this mouse is money. Why would I call it money? Because I can trade it for things. Like if you're about to do a presentation at a conference and you forgot your mouse at home, well, you'll pay me for this used mouse. Or maybe you'll exchange me your backpack. I don't know. But this is money. It's tradable. But where's the demand? And it depends on the situation. This is money. If you're somewhere in a desert and all of a sudden you run across some water and you still got a lot further to go, you'd pay a lot to have a cup to carry the water, wouldn't you? This is money. This is money. Maybe I need to cover my head from the sun. Worth money. So it is money. It's tradable. People will exchange something for it. Anything that people will exchange for is money. So then here's what we get into. But before I get into that, are you guys tracking? Put a 1 in the chat if you are tracking, if you are following what I'm saying, if you're smelling what I'm cooking so far. Seems you guys are smelling it. So now it becomes a matter of if everything is money, what's the best one? And there has to be a best one. There has to be a best one. And it's going to be, and whichever one is the best one is going to be decided by the market. So with money actually has properties. It has properties, and we grade each of those properties. The one that comes out with the best score is the best money. Here are the properties. They all have 9 properties. It's always been 8, but since Bitcoin, they had to create a new one. And really since digital dollars and SWIFT system, et cetera, they had to create the 9th category. But these are the 9 properties of gold. Durability, right? How does it hold up over time, right? Gold, very high. Like you can't really destroy gold. You can carry it anywhere. It's very durable. Fiat, moderate, because you could burn paper, you could rip it up, you could destroy it. Bitcoin, the most durable, because you can't destroy a Bitcoin. It's impossible. Portability. Well, gold's kind of hard to carry around, you know? Try to get it through an airport. Try to get it out of the country. Try to walk around with too much of it. It's heavy. Fiat, cash is kind of hard to carry around. Try to get out of the country with a briefcase of cash, but you could probably tap into your cash anywhere in the world. But we'll get into another property down here that makes that harder. Bitcoin is the most portable money there's ever been. All you need is an internet connection. And if you're thinking, well, what if we don't have the internet anymore? What if it's a nuclear fallout? None of this is going to matter. the best form of money is going to be food and water and guns and bullets. That. Divisibility. Well, you can split gold up into grams and parts of grams, so but it's kind of a pain in the ass to split up, right? In order to pay with, really. Fiat, you can break it down to a penny. That's pretty good. But Bitcoin, you can break it down to a Satoshi, which is a fraction of a penny. So it's the highest. Fungibility. In other words, each one is completely equal to the other one, right? 1 ounce of gold is 1 ounce of gold, sort of, because if it's pure gold, right? You have 14 karat, 18 karat, 24 karat gold, they're gonna have different values, but the fungibility is still pretty high. Fiat, a $100 bill is a $100 bill. Bitcoin, a Bitcoin's a Bitcoin. Scarcity, moderate. You're thinking, well, it's scarce. We don't know how much gold there really is, and they keep mining gold all the time. We don't know what the limit is. And wait till they can get on an asteroid that's just filled with gold and start chipping gold off of there. That's gonna happen one day. So moderate scarcity. Fiat, it's not scarce at all. They can print it to infinity. Bitcoin, how many Bitcoin are there? 21 million. Highest grade in scarcity. Verifiable, gold. People make counterfeit gold. If someone hands you 14 karat gold bar versus a 24 karat gold bar, can you really tell? How can you tell? So moderate. Fiat, counterfeit money happens all the time. Hard to tell the difference. Bitcoin, impossible to fake it. Impossible. History, gold's got the highest. It's the oldest, it's got the most provenance, it's been around thousands of years. So that's the highest rank. Fiat, moderate. Fiat's been around a long time, but it doesn't live very long. Bitcoin's the youngest. Censorship resistant. Gold, again, try to leave the country try to get on an airplane with a box of gold. Probably gonna confiscate it. Fiat, same thing. They can freeze your bank account anytime they want. Bitcoin, no one can do anything. It's yours. No one can do anything. It can't be censored at all. You can take it anywhere. You can send it anywhere. You can do whatever you want and no one can do a damn thing. Unless they put a gun to your head. But they could do that with any of these, couldn't they? Smart and programmable, this is a newer category. Obviously gold, you can't program it. Fiat's programmable, no doubt, right? We send digital ledger accounts around the world, but Bitcoin is completely programmable and smart and can do a versatile number of things. So these are really the properties of money, and as you see, Bitcoin is the highest form of money. You can see that gold is better than fiat and Bitcoin's better than gold. And really the most important ones that I find with people, and there's one property that's kind of not on here, and it has to do with like keeping its value over time. Gold's done very good at that. Bitcoin's done the best. But scarcity seems to be the one that people care about the most. And Bitcoin's the most scarce. Because when I go through the properties with people and have them grade it, it always ends up being that people care the most about scarcity / limited supply and store value. Store value should be a property that's probably on here. Gold's a fantastic store of value, you know. If you wanted to buy a tunic in the year 1 AD, it costs you about 1 ounce of gold. A really nice tunic. Today, if you want to get a really nice suit, it costs you about 1 ounce of gold. So it holds its value very well. The thing about Bitcoin is, though, it appreciates in value, not just to its buying power appreciates. That's what I'm getting at. All right, Bitcoin is the Model T of crypto. It's going to crash and burn. I think Jeremiah's drank some Kool-Aid. Sounds like an XRP cultist to me. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it's just an observation. You give some really good info. My eyes and ears a lot. Thanks, Mitch. Inflation hedge should also appear. Yeah. So that's the increase of buying power / store value, and Bitcoin ranks the best for that also. And it's 16 years. I just don't. But I don't see that changing for quite a while. How often am I live? I have not gone live very much this year. I was here through a whole bear market. I was here through 23. I was here through 24. But right at the end of the year last year, TikTok hit me with 2 strikes. shut down 2 consecutive live streams of mine, flagged me for frauds and scams because I was talking about crypto. And when I went to appeal them, they held both of them up. Oh, I take that back. They actually shut down my live stream 3 straight times. I appealed, I think, the first one, and they said, okay, fine, restored. No strike. But then the next 2, they didn't reverse. And I'm like, why? I'm talking about the same damn thing I'm always talking about. Your automated systems just mindlessly robot flag shit. Anyways, so I was pretty much MIA for the first half of the year because I really couldn't touch. If I did anything on TikTok, I ran the risk of getting my whole account completely gone forever. And so I'm starting to kind of get back into the groove of things, but that's why I'm having you move over here, because I need to diversify. It's just, I'm so nervous being on TikTok, and I realize that all my eggs are like in that basket. So I need to put my eggs in some other baskets. And I like YouTube. As a user, I use YouTube more than everything else combined by a ton. YouTube's almost the only thing I use. I'll doom scroll Twitter a little bit, but YouTube is 99% of my social media as a user. Got Bonk reminds me like the Got Milk promo. I don't, but I'm actually pretty bullish on Bonk. Let's pull up Bonk real quick. Let's pull up Bonk and find it. So Bonk is how old is it now? When did Bonk come in? Go to 3 day because it's older than I thought. Yeah, so it's been around for about 2.5 years now. I was thinking it was October 23, but so this is the Bonk chart. I'm on the 3 day. Bonk launched in February of 23, went down like crazy until the end of the year, till about Halloween, and then it ripped. Whew. And it's really been up here ever since. And I have a hard time seeing Bonk really go below this line, which is about 4 zeros and a 1. I don't know what that market cap is, maybe $1 billion, I don't know. But it's been trading in this range here, pretty much between here and here, right? This happened back in April, March, April, good time to buy, obviously. Came up, hit this trend line down here, because I had this trend line going, this support line, broke below it, came down here, bumped its head perfectly on it, came back, and then ripped above now. But now it's bumping its head here at this range high. So I'm not a buyer. I don't buy at highs. I don't buy at range highs. I like Bonk. I actually think Bonk will probably end up being, it is at the moment, but I think it will stay the #1 meme coin, the Solana meme coin. It'll be between Bonk and Farcoin. And I probably got to give the edge to Bonk long term. You bought it 4027 and you're very happy, so you're up about 25%. You're 25% solid. Don't be afraid to de-risk though. We're at the top of the range. Are XP holders in a rude awakening? I don't know. As a business, there's nothing special about XRP. They just have a very strong cult. And I don't mean that insultingly, like it's a cult, it's a culture. Like you're in cults, all of us are really in some cults. Like we have bias. So, and by the way, I bought XRP in the summer of 2022. Not because I think XRP is the future, but because I just realized when I bought it, it was like in 35 cents. And I'm like, and we'd been through the Luna collapse, and I'm like, the question I really asked myself back then was, do I believe the SEC lawsuit case will be over? Whether they win or lose, I didn't really care. I prefer win. And they did win mostly, but it was over. But I asked myself, I'm like, do I think by the end of 2025 that case will be over? And I thought, yeah, I'm pretty confident that case is going to be over by 2025. And it ended up being over in 2023. And so I'm like, oh, awesome. And I just held on to it until it ripped up at the end of last year. And I ended up selling it around $2.70. And I'll probably never buy XRP again. But I was also telling people back in the bear market in 22, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I think XRP probably gets to about $10. And people thought I was nuts. And I'm like, I know that sounds nuts, but like XRP probably should have got to $10 last cycle by looking at the charts and looking at the trends, not the fundamentals, not the revenues by any means, because that doesn't justify any price it's basically ever been. But I was looking at it, I'm like, it probably should have hit $10 last cycle based on, because it's been around longer than everything but Bitcoin, really. And it keeps making higher highs. The only reason it didn't was because the SEC came in December of 2020, right before the bull market really fucking ripped, right, literally like a couple weeks before altcoin season literally started. And it shut down XRP completely because you couldn't buy it anywhere. And it was left behind. And I thought, well, had it been able to participate in that altcoin season, it probably would have got to, looks like it would have got to about $10 to me. So when I was looking at it at 35 cents in July of 22, 3 years ago, I was like, it should hit $10, maybe 15 or 20. And then why did I sell at 270? I'm good. I made like an 8X. I had to wait 2.5 years. I made about an 8X. And then I took that capital and I deployed it into other things. I sold XRP around the top of that move and then put it into other things. I think in particularly, I put it into Landwolf, and Landwolf did about a 10X from there. So no regrets from this guy. And I'll never buy XRP again, probably, unless we go into some ridiculous bear market again and XRP goes down 95%. Then I'll buy it, because it'll be like, well, I can't not make money on it. But I won't be, it's not something I'm buying now or in this bull market at all. That's me. That's my opinion. And if it makes you angry, then you're being emotional and it's clouding your judgment. I could be wrong, but you better have real reasons that aren't emotional and angry and I'm talking out against your cult. That's marrying your bags. They won't love you back. Rule number one in investing: don't get married to your bags. Take your profits. This game is about making profit, not falling in love, because none of it's going to love you back. What am I buying now? I'm not necessarily buying anything today, but what I was buying in April was, and since at the right moments when I felt like we've had nice corrections, is I was really buying higher risk stuff. There's a couple meme coins in particular that I've been following since their inception, and I've already made a good amount of money from them, so I'm just very familiar with their communities, with how their price action is, with how their holders are, with how their socials are, with what their ethos is, their philosophy. I'm very in tuned to them. I've paid attention to many, and there's really just two that I pay attention to and that I invested in. And really, those two make up maybe half my portfolio. But the other half of my portfolio is basically cash, stablecoin, yield that I have working in DeFi, accruing interest, until I'm ready to deploy it when a good opportunity presents itself. Other than that, I just lay in wait. And I went into almost 40% cash, I guess, 3 weeks ago. A little too early, but I was up. And so I closed my lowest risk position. So I sold my Solana. I basically sold my Solana and Jupiter. I sold them both a little too early, but I was up, like I said, and I wanted to have cash, and it looked to me, I didn't know what was going to happen. We've been ranging for a while. Is this breakout real? Is it not? So I sold the low risk, but I kept my high risk positions so that if things went down, I was anchored by the stable coin, but if things went up, I still got to get probably most of the upside I was going to get from my higher risk positions. Because most of my gains are going to come from my higher risk positions, but so are most of my losses. I was okay with if it went down more because I had a bunch of stable coin and I'd probably just buy back lower and wait. But if it went higher, awesome, because 80% of my gains were probably going to come from those coins anyways compared to the lower risk ones like Solana that I sold. Does that make any sense? Maybe I'm just babbling. So you didn't think and then I have Bitcoin. Yeah, I have Bitcoin, but I don't sell my Bitcoin. What do I think about Chainlink? I think Chainlink is one of the most actually like useful things in all of crypto, but I don't have any. I had some, I was buying it in the bear market and it ran up and I sold it. But the market doesn't love it as much, even though from a fundamental standpoint, it's like one of the absolute best things in crypto. Everything in crypto uses it. It's vital infrastructure to all of crypto and blockchain. And even more than that now. So from a long-term perspective, I think it's great. But I'm not in any of it right now. Do you think we have more alt runs, not alt season? Ooh, good question, Victor. Good question. I think it's quite possible we more have like alt runs than a true alt season, which is like an alt run on massive, crazy jet-fueled steroids, you know? I got included in some goddamn text thread. And so message and message and message and message and message. And so you see my thumb coming up over here, that's why. I hate it when people, when I'm in a text thread, I'm kind enough to like never post anything in it because I know how goddamn annoying it is. With that said, you know, the people that are in aren't always going to be here, so I'm glad to be in it, I guess. But yeah, Victor, that's a good question, man. I think, because we've been seeing alt runs, that's a really good way to put it. Like pockets of alts, like this AI will pump and then, you know, dog meme coins and then like Solana meme coins and then ETH meme coins and Pepe will have these, it's like these pistons of altcoins, but they don't seem to all go up together at the same time. And they'll stop, money will come out of them and go into another one, and then it'll go up, and it'll go up. And it's kind of little alt runs in these kind of pockets. That may be all we get anymore. That's very, very possible. Do I hope we get one last true crazy ass altcoin season where everything just goes to Valhalla? Of course I do. But just because I want it doesn't mean it's ever going to happen. That's the reality. That's the truth, Home Skillet. Good question, Victor. Very good question, man. I give you a thumbs up. Speaking of that, if you haven't given a thumbs up or hit the follow button yet, do so if you're enjoying this. And turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. Big institutions will pump the top altcoins. Maybe. 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 I hope so. Because if they go up, that money is going to flood down the risk curve, and it's going to be that much more money to trickle down into the others. Remember the charts I showed you? Total crypto, total 3, and others. Total crypto is all of crypto added together. That market cap, it's about 3.8 trillion. And then there was total 3, which was all of crypto excluding Bitcoin and ETH. That was about $1 trillion. And then there was others, which is all of crypto excluding the top 10. So Hyperliquid is number 11 market cap. Everything from Hyperliquid down combined was about 300 billion. So yeah, if they put money into total 3, which should be the big altcoins, that money is going to trickle down into others, and others is going to hopefully hit my, I'll call them targets, I guess. I'll show you that real quick. Some of you might not have seen that. So this is others, right? I said 300 billion. My target for this, like we've been trading in this range here, since about right here, really, right? So almost 2 years, top, bottom, closer to the bottom, working our way up. But we've been in this range here, these long lines, for 8 years, right? And we came down in April and tapped it. It was just the risk reward to buy right here in April. No, this is April, excuse me. This is April, March, and then this is June, came down again. With the risk reward was just beautiful. And we're still in a nice risk reward because there's a whole bunch of upside left. I think it's possible we get somewhere between here, which is 2 trillion and 3.5 trillion, which should be a nice 7 to 12x from here. I think it's quite possible. If we get something like an altcoin season, I think that's where others is going to go. And any altcoins you're in, like riskier ones outside the top 10, you're going to see some gorgeous gains. But let me be very clear with you. Be very clear with you. The days of 2017 and 2021, those are the golden bull runs. We are not in those situations anymore. The days of getting 1, 2, 300 X's, they're pretty much gone. If it happens to you, you're just going to be extremely beyond lucky. But we're more in an environment where you can plan for getting 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10 X's. You can plan for that. You can put yourself in positions for that type of stuff. But to think that you're going to turn like $10,000 into $1 million or 2 million, those days are, by and large, they're gone, right? They're gone. So, but don't let that be discouraging, because this is still the best market in the world by a long ways. And it'll just take longer to get rich than it did in 17 and 21. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. And if that's discouraging to you, well, have fun putting all your money in the stock market that goes up 10 to 12% a year, which isn't good. And over your 30-year career of doing that, you will have a nice retirement fund. It's cool. But, I mean, you can sit here and play this game and not be super greedy troll and take your nice 2, 3 X's and let those stack on top of each other. And you got to be patient. Pick when you play. That's my thought. Mike says, you look beautiful. Don't make me blush, Mike. Don't make me blush. Thank you. What do you think of gold? And would you say buy a crypto backed by gold? That would just be gold. Crypto backed by gold would just be gold. That already exists, by the way. You can buy tokenized gold, but it's only going to go up as much as gold goes up. I mean, unless they try to pull some kind of gold treasury company type of thing, but I just don't see that as working. I trade a lot of options with the stock market. Options can be nice. But Mitch, as you know, that's not something most people can or should do. But options, you can certainly outperform the market, the S&P with options, you can. And lower your risk profile. But the option market is such a tricky market. Like, I literally mean that, like tricksters and manipulation in that market. Like, you know, when expiration day is coming up, that shit's gonna close in the perfect spot where the least amount of people make money. It's so obvious. I used to trade options like 15 years ago, and I did all right, but it was hard not to because we were coming out of the great financial crisis and everything just went up, so I just bought call options all the time. Can you talk about crypto Roth? I don't know what that is. Like a Roth IRA, like a self-directed IRA for crypto? I don't know too much about that. I know I Trust Capital has some products for that. They seem to be the big one in the space, but I don't know a whole lot about it. Mitch says it took me 10 years to figure it out. Yeah, I bet it did. I bet it did. And you're still figuring it out because there's no end to it. Should I ride one coin up, sell it, and jump on the next mover, even though it might not be the absolute top of the first crypto? Sounds like a bad plan, Martin. Sounds like a bad plan. Why? Here's what I mean. Like your question in and of itself, like, yeah, in theory, if you can do that, sounds good, but it's not that easy at all. When you sell, don't buy anything else. Take your fucking profit. Don't let that greedy troll inside all of us make you do stupid things, because it's always thirsty. It's never satisfied. Sit in stable coin. Go get yield on your stable coin. Learn how to use DeFi. And chill and just wait. Sit on your hands, twiddle your thumbs, and wait for the next opportunity. It won't be the next day. It won't be the next week. Probably won't be the next month. It'll probably be months away. Maybe even a year. Just wait. Because when you sell, you sell. And when you buy, you buy. It's my opinion. Where do you think the end of this bull market is for Bitcoin? A lot of people say 125. A lot say 150. Lucas, here's the secret. Nobody knows. Nobody has a clue. You going out seeking predictions, anyone going out seeking predictions is doing themselves more harm than good. No one has a crystal ball. I have probabilities set up. I think it's possible, based on my charts, that show me, it's possible Bitcoin could actually hit somewhere between like 230 and 330 by the end of the year, which seems nuts from here. But I've been in crypto long enough that I've watched enough nutty things happen. But it's possible Bitcoin is sub 100 by the end of the year. So no one knows. I think the best guess is it's somewhere above 100, somewhere below 150. That's probably where the most probabilities lie. How many XRP are enough? What? That's a terrible question. I say that because I actually want to help you. And if you ask terrible questions, you're having very unhelpful thoughts for yourself. I wouldn't buy XRP right now. How many are enough? Enough for what? Enough to buy a cup of coffee? Enough to buy a car? Enough to be a millionaire? I would say at its current price, to be a millionaire, you would have to be holding at current value $300,000 to $400,000 worth of XRP. What's the probability that Bitcoin goes back to 50K? Very close to zero. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to show you why. I'm not just say shit. To show you actually why I'm saying that. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to show you. Elliot says 2. He doesn't want to know it all. Some of you may have heard me talk about this before. I talk about it quite regularly. But I bring it up over and 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 over again, because I know you're going out there listening to all this fucking noise. So I got to repeat. I have to scream into the void again to remind you of the things that we know to be true. Because really, I try to operate on as much of what I know to be true and as little of what I don't know to be true as possible. And I promise you, many of you are operating on many things you don't know to be true, but you think they're true. Within a range of probabilities, okay? So this is the Bitcoin mining cost compared to the Bitcoin price. This goes back 10 years, right? Here we are in November of 2015, almost 10 years, right? Back then, the cost to mine a Bitcoin was $227. The cost of a Bitcoin was $337. Let me ask you real quick. Which should cost more? Should it cost more to mine a Bitcoin, or should it cost more to buy a Bitcoin? Ask again. Put a 1 if you think it should cost more to mine a Bitcoin. Put a 2 if you think it should cost more to buy a Bitcoin. Don't all answer at once. Victor's the only one answering. Let me ask it another way. Should it cost more to mine gold, or should it cost more to buy gold? One, if you think it should cost more to mine gold. Two, if you think it should cost more to just buy gold. There's a correct answer. There's definitely a correct answer. Don't all answer at once. Well, tell you what, if it costs more to mine Bitcoin, mine gold, than to sell gold, there'd be no one mining gold, right? Because the miners are selling gold. So they mine gold at one price and they sell it for more, or else they wouldn't mine the damn thing. Same thing with Bitcoin. If you're gonna mine Bitcoin, you gotta be able to sell it for more, or else why the fuck would you mine Bitcoin? So the cost to mine Bitcoin is less almost all the time compared to just buying a Bitcoin. It has to be, because the cost to produce it has to be less than the actual cost, market value of the thing. Or else why would you do it? Because you're paying money to get something you could just buy for less. So that's what this chart shows. This chart shows the cost to mine, which right here on this day was $227, and Bitcoin is going for $337. That's reasonable. Miners got to make money. Now let's go through this chart. As you can see, the blue line is the cost to mine. The orange line is the cost to buy a Bitcoin. And if we go through this chart for 10 years, which line is below the most? The blue line. The blue line is below the cost of Bitcoin around 80 to 85% of the time, right? This chart, as a matter of fact, right here, going back to November of 2015, the cost to buy a Bitcoin doesn't go below the cost to mine until right here, 3 years later. Because then, now they're paying $5,000 to mine, but you can just buy one for $34. Tell me, back here in December of 2018, were we in a bull market or a bear market? We were in a bear market. This was actually the bear market low. And when a really odd thing like that happens, which is really rare, you know that the market is way undervaluing Bitcoin. And it stayed down there, right, from November 2018 to about right here, till April. So you had December, January, February, March, April. You had 5 months to buy Bitcoin for less than it cost to mine. I'm going to come back to that. And then we ran up pretty good, which is actually this spot on the chart, right here. And if we looked at it on total, it would be this little spot right here. Okay, June of 2019. June, July of 2018, okay? And then we worked our way down, came back to normal, and the price of Bitcoin stayed above the cost to mine, but then this happened. Bitcoin all of a sudden went below the cost to mine. What happened right here, you think? In March of 2020. COVID. COVID scared the shit out of people. So you had a little blip to buy it. Could have got it as low as, I believe it got, for a moment, got down to like 3,500. And then right here, the blue line shoots way above the orange line. What happened right there? It happened back here too, and then it happened right here. What are these two things called? When you see the cost of mining jump up like that, that's a halving. That's a halving. COVID happened right before the halving. And then right after the halving, you were still able to buy Bitcoin for a little less to mine it because people were still scared from COVID all the way up till this point, the end of the year, till November. And then Bitcoin gapped above. People were paying way too much for Bitcoin because Bitcoin shouldn't cost 3 times what it costs to mine. It should cost like 10 to 30% more than it does to mine. And it stayed above that all the way until right here, June of 2022. Let me go a little bit further. There we go. What happened in June of 2022? What happened in June of 2022? It's just so important to understand this stuff. Luna collapsed. Luna collapsed. And we had our next buying opportunity. Because Bitcoin, all of a sudden, Bitcoin right here, September of 2020, that was the last time that Bitcoin, you could buy Bitcoin for less than it cost to mine. You didn't have that opportunity again until briefly in June of 22. You had to wait almost 2 years to get that opportunity again. And now we're in a bear market. And then you really had the opportunity right here in November, right? Just like back here in this bear market, you had about 5 months to buy Bitcoin less than it cost to mine and get to buy Bitcoin at a discount. Right here, how long did you have? You had June, and then it went back above a little bit, kind of played around with it, and then it all the way until about January, right? So July, August, September, October, November, December, January. So you had about 6 months or so in reality that you could have bought Bitcoin in the bear market for less than it cost to mine. The real moment being right here in November, which was when FTX collapsed. But everyone's too scared to buy. Everyone's looking at me going, I'm not buying right now. I think it's going to go lower. And I'm like, it could go lower. But Bitcoin is but it's a very good price. It's a very good value. And you guys want to know, because I was here in the bear market in 22, doing live streams almost every day on TikTok. And I'd ask people, I'd go, all right, everyone would be saying like, yeah, no, it's a good price, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go lower, so I'm going to wait. And I know it's just their scapegoat for their fear they're feeling. But they don't want to say that. I'm like, well, let's think this through. I think Bitcoin could go lower. It's possible. If it does, I'll buy more, but I'm buying here. Here's why. Let me ask everybody. I would ask everybody. I'd have hundreds of people on my stream, and I'd ask, and I'd go, okay, do you think there's going to be another bull run? Everybody would say yes. These are the same people, by the way, that are saying that they're not buying because they think it's going to go lower. And Bitcoin's at 16,000. They're like, I think it's going to go to 13. I think it's going to go to 10. I'm going to wait because they just want to buy the bottom. But really, they're just scared and they're never going to buy anything. So I say, okay, is there going to be another bull run? They go, yes. I go, okay, when's that bull run going to happen? They'd all go 24, 25, 2024, 2025. I go, I agree with both of those things. And I go, now let me ask you this. Conservatively, what do you believe Bitcoin will get to in that bull run in 24, 25? They'd all go 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, 90,000, 120, 150, 100,000. 100,000 was by far no one batted an eye. I go, so let me get this straight. Right now, in November, December of 2022, you think in 2 to 3 years from now, there will be another bull run and Bitcoin's going to get to at least 100,000. Right now, Bitcoin's at 16,000 and you're not going to buy it because it might go a little bit lower. When Bitcoin goes to 100,000 in 2 or 3 years, are you really going to care that much that you bought it at 16 or 13? And then it would go crickets because their fear didn't know what to do. It didn't know how to answer that one. And then you have a chart like this showing you that it's rare. You get the opportunity maybe once every couple years to buy Bitcoin for less than it costs to mine. And one thing that we know for sure is the cost to mine Bitcoin, it only goes up. And every 4 years, it spikes. It jumps up because of the halving. The halving, when all of a sudden you're paying $1,000 to mine a Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden you're only able to mine half as much Bitcoin, well, what happens? Well, now it costs you $2,000 to mine a Bitcoin. That's what happened here. It's what happened here. And it's what happened most lately last April, right here. So you had some opportunities, right? You could even been buying Bitcoin at 25K here, a little under, and a little under here. in 23, and then it gapped up leading into the halving, which it usually does. Gapped up leading into the halving, gapped up leading into the halving, and it would have done it here, but COVID hit right before the halving. It was on its way up. It probably would have kept going to about there, but COVID pulled it down, making a crazy opportunity. With the halving coming right around the corner, you couldn't have asked for a better scenario. And then last year, after the halving, Bitcoin spiked up to about, 74K or so. And then this happened. And then I was looking at this chart and I was just sharing with everybody when Bitcoin was in the 50s for months. I said, listen, this is probably the last time you're going to be able to buy Bitcoin in the 50s. Probably the last time. And I don't know where this bull market's going to go, but if we have another bear market, you're going to be begging for 50s and you're probably not going to get it. That's what I was saying this time last year to everybody, over and over and over on repeat. If you follow me for any length of time, I repeat shit a lot because I got to say something, 700 times for someone to hear a piece of it once. So what am I saying? Most of the time you should do nothing. Nothing. Track the things you know for sure. Bitcoin mining cost, for sure it's just gonna go up over time like it always has. It's always gonna cost more over time to mine Bitcoin because of the energy cost, because of the competition, because of more people mining Bitcoin, institutions, countries fucking mining Bitcoin. The more people trying to mine Bitcoin, the more cost to mine Bitcoin. And that forces the price of Bitcoin up because the miners can't sell at a loss. Only in crazy imbalanced times, which are rare, will they sell Bitcoin for less than they bought it for. And those are short periods and those are your windows. Happens about once. It's happened 1, 2, 3, 4 times in 10 years. So about once every 2.5 years, you get that opportunity. And almost every time you will not buy because you will be too scared. And instead, what you'll do is you'll buy here when Bitcoin price is way above mining cost. This is what most people do. They buy here and here and here. But that one's okay because that's still pre-halving, whatever. It sucks. Here and here. When in reality, all you should do is you should just be waiting for these moments. Because when these moments come up, you can comfortably shove your chips. And in the meantime, stay largely in stable coins and learn how to use DeFi so you can get really nice yield on those stable coins. Why do mining prices go up? What's the science behind it? Cost of everything goes up over time. As more people mine Bitcoin, people, companies, countries start mining Bitcoin, the cost to mine Bitcoin goes up because currently the Bitcoin network will only produce 900 Bitcoin a day. Doesn't matter how many people are mining it. If you're the only one mining Bitcoin, you're getting all 900 Bitcoin. But the more people are in there, the more diluted it gets. And the more expensive it gets for them cost-wise to mine the Bitcoin because the energy costs, the equipment, the labor, the rent, the taxes, all the shit of a business. Biggest cost is their energy. Just keeps going up over time, and you can clearly see on the chart it just keeps going up. And every about 4 years, the halving happens. Right now we mine 450 Bitcoin a day. Before the last halving, it was 900. After the next halving, which will be in about 2028, we'll only be able to mine 225 a day. That's going to, again, overnight, double the cost to mine a Bitcoin. Forever. Forever. Maybe it's a good time to say this. Would anyone be interested in having more access to me, being in my private Discord? Would anyone here be interested in learning more about how to actually use DeFi and get those nice yields I'm talking about? Put a 1 in the chat if yes to any of that. Maybe there'll be no ones. That will hurt my feelings, but I'll live. Well, no ones. I'll show you anyways. There's the link, dailycryptobull.com. That's where you can join my private Discord, currently $59.99 a month. I'm giving away a bonus, the DeFi Mastery course, which is about a $500 course, as a welcome bonus. In there, you get access to the community, which is me and other serious investors. You can actually just ask me questions in there, as well as the other members, and I do exclusive streams just for members. And in my experience, being around other serious people helps you level up and do a lot better. So that's the link, dailycryptobull.com. $60 a month, cost of a few burritos a month. Not exactly expensive, but it's enough that anyone that pays for it really puts themselves above all the jokers, showing that they're a lot more serious than most. Most people in crypto think they're serious. They think they are, but they're really just shit or get off the pot people, and they just stay on the pot. And they just hope something will happen, but it doesn't. Very small percentage of people are actually what I would call serious. And they take the steps to get the most out of all of this that they can, because they realize it's a limited opportunity, these crypto markets and the opportunities they give. And being around other experienced people, kind of a cheat code, So join it, don't join it, all good. There's the link one more time, dailycryptobull.com. I'd argue that you'll probably do a lot better in crypto being in a community like that with me than doing it alone. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. Plus that course, that DeFi Mastery course, that's no joke, right? I get currently about 11% on my stablecoin. I get about 20% yield on my Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana. And I show you how to use all that stuff. Most people, like 98% of people in crypto, don't know how to use crypto at all, which means they don't know how to use DeFi. But the very small percentage that knows how to use it, the opportunities sitting there are massive. So I put that in there as a nice bonus for you to do something else really good for yourself, which is go be in a community of people that are serious that you can leverage. Hedera is fixing to break out. Maybe. Let's pull up Hedera. Good old H-bar. It's so boring. H-bar is so boring. Like, why? I've been wrong before, that's for sure. Let me pull this up. H-bar is fixing to break out. Well, it's not too far from its all-time high. Like, if you're going to buy it, like, seems to me that this is the area to buy it. Not really up here. I wouldn't touch it with your 10-foot pole up here. But it's going to break out, bro. Yeah, I've heard that a billion times, man. It's almost never, ever the case. And if it's going to break out, then that means the entire fucking market is breaking out. Let me put it that way. So I can be in things that will get me more of a return than H-bar at this price point. That's what I'm getting at. What's up, Sophia? Are you Australian? No. It's because I kind of look like Russell Crowe a little bit. People say that sometimes. I don't really see it. I feel like those people might just see like bearded white men as looking roughly the same. Now, drop some other questions in here. What do you guys got? Yeah, H-bar does not look like a buy to me right now. It really doesn't. I get the Charles Hoskinson thing too. Again, I feel like you just see bearded white men as looking roughly the same. Because I do not look like, sure, I have glasses. I have a beard. I'm white. We have brownish hair. He's bald, and I'm much prettier. So, fuck no. I do not look like Charles Hoskinson, but okay. I'm prettier. All right, what else do you guys want to talk about? What else should we talk about today? Here's another chart you guys need to pay attention to. Let me refresh this to make sure it's current. You got to always pay attention to the fear and greed index. My favorite one is over on alternative.me. Right now we're at 72, which is in the greed zone, but it's not in the crazy greed zone. Let me scroll down here a bit. Let's go all time. Hey, guess when this was? That was a good time to get out. Guess when this was? That was a bad time to get out, actually. Look at that, crazy. But then it stayed up there. That was probably about a good time to get out of altcoins, and then it really started dropping. That was a really good time to get in. Good time to get out. Good time to get in. Really good time to get in. Good time to get out. Good time to get out. Good time to get in. So what I'm getting at here is when greed is really high, you need to be really cautious and probably sell some shit. When it's really low, that's when you should be buying. So couple this chart with this chart. Say Bitcoin is, costs less than it does to mine. And if your fear is way down here, like sub 20, ideally sub 10. Like look at this right here. In June 14th, fear was at 8, which is extreme, extreme fear. Well, let's go back to the mining chart. Let's try to find June of 22. There it is, look at that. Bitcoin was 20K, about 20% below the cost to mine. Good time to buy. Let's go over here. November of 22, Bitcoin's at 16, cost to mine at 24. Let's find November of 22. Oh, look at this. Right here. Right there. Went down into the 20s. Fear, that is an extreme fear. So when you look at things like that, it just screams to you that the probabilities are so heavy in your favor to buy or to sell that you really just got to wait for these moments, because if you know what you're looking for, they're flashing lights. And we're not in anything like that right now. We're in kind of a neutral territory, leaning a little bit greedy. That's fine. I'd say the neutral zone is between 35 and 75 roughly, and we're at 77. So we're a little greedy, but it's nothing to be super concerned about. When do you think the bull market ends? Never. It's never going to end. Bitcoin, this is a Bitcoin. For 16 years, it's been nothing but a perpetual bull market that will continue. What about when it went down? That's not a thing. High, low, higher high, higher low. As long as things keep making higher highs and higher lows, that's called an uptrend. Bitcoin's been in an uptrend its entire existence. There's nothing to indicate that that's going to change. Bitcoin, to break that pattern, would have to go to 14,000. Not going to happen. When did you get into crypto? 2017. Have you traded? I've traded a lot. When do you think altcoin bull market ends? We're not even in an altcoin bull market. Not really. But I don't know. And what's your name, Cal? I'll tell you this, Cal. Seeking answers to the unanswerable questions is going to do you a lot more harm than good. You need to learn how to read the market day to day in its current form. And that's what I'm showing you over here. I'm showing you how I read the market day to day. Because when it's time to get out, you'll see it in the day. You'll see it in the week. You'll see it in the month. And when it's time to get in, you'll see it in the day. You'll see it in the week. You'll see it in the month. Until then, twiddle my thumbs, sit on my hands, touch grass, and then bullshit with you guys. But it takes time. You gotta build experience. There's no substitute for experience, and just do it. And when you start doing, you suck. And you just become perpetual levels of less sucky. Till one day you're borderline good. What do you think of XRP? I wouldn't buy it. Its valuation is beyond insane, even for crypto. And I sold all my XRP in November, December. What do you hold nowadays? Doesn't matter. What do you hold? Most of what I hold now is on the high risk end of the spectrum. And then I have what's on the high risk end of the spectrum and what's on the lowest end risk of the spectrum. Hey, in crypto, real quick, let me ask you guys, what's the lowest risk thing in crypto? What's the lowest risk thing in crypto? Max says Bitcoin. PDX says stable coins. PDX is correct. Stable coins are the least risky thing in crypto because they're always worth $1. So I'm in the higher risk stuff, which is a couple meme coins, and then I'm in cash, stable coin. But my stable coin is sitting around getting about 11% yield. So it's just growing into more stable coin every day. Put a 1 in the chat if you would love to learn how to do that. No one wants to learn how to do that. Okay. What do you think about AIXBT? I guess I do have a little bit of that, but I wouldn't be buying more. But dollars do shrink in purchasing power due to inflation. Well, if you're getting 11% yield, you're beating the shit out of inflation. In reality, I don't care about any of that because I'm waiting to deploy those stable coins into crypto assets once crypto assets are screaming that they're a fantastic buy. But in the meantime, I'm growing my stable coin into more stable coin completely passively. Again, I ask, can you hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you would like to learn how to do that. To have your dollars passively turning into more dollars? Nobody. You gotta look yourself in the mirror and go, do you really want to win? Because the answer is no, if you don't want to learn that. Just saying. But that's fine. Holding stable coins, you get an APY. Exactly. There are some people who are waking up. So I put together an entire DeFi course that I was going to sell for $500, showing you how to get yield on stablecoin, how to get yield on all your cryptos, right? Currently, I get about 11% on my stables. USDC is what I use. And then I get about 20% on my Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana. And I could get a lot more on any of it. And I go through all that in the course. So I put that together and I will give it to you completely free. Completely free, I'll give it to you. If you join my Discord, dailycryptobull.com. My Discord is not free. It is a Peasly tiny $60 a month. And what do you get with that? You obviously get the DeFi course teaching you all the yield stuff I just told you about, but you also get to be in my private community around other serious, like-minded investors. And you get to be around me more. You go in the Discord and ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. And the other members in there are fantastic. I also do exclusive streams like this, but just for members. Right? So you really get all your questions answered and really go through some very specific stuff. And I share stuff on those streams that I don't share on these public streams. If you can't invest $60 in yourself for all of that, then I'm just gonna go out and say it like, either you think I'm just completely full of shit or you're not serious. And that's fine. Most people are not serious, but they think they are. It's just gonna be real with you. Being around other people to leverage their experience is the cheat code to winning harder. No matter what it is, whether it's investing, whether it's, business, whether it's school, whether it's family, whatever the fuck it is, being around other people to leverage their experience, that's the cheat code. And if you won't invest $60 a month in yourself, then I gotta tell you, like, I don't think your chances of winning are very high. And again, you know what? Don't join my community. But you should get in some kind of paid community. Go find someone else you like then. Go get in their community. But free communities aren't gonna cut it for you, because that's a bunch of noise and a bunch of jokesters. When you get into a real premium community, you're around serious people that actually pay to be there and they pay to play. It doesn't have to be my community, but go to somebody's. Quit fucking trying to do it yourself and get everything for free. It's not gonna do very good for you. Go get in somebody's community. If you want to get in mine, but get in somebody's. Again, here's my link. Moving on. Let's see. Painting. I just 580 in XRP. When should I sell it? I mean, I can't answer that. I can't answer. Did you buy it at the top and now you're down? Did you buy it for 30 cents? I don't know. What goals do you have? What are you looking to do? I don't know. Can you give us a peek in the community? Is it active? Yes, it's active. Peek into the community. How would I do that? I can go into the Discord, I guess. But I'm not gonna. Believe me or don't believe me, it's $60. If that's a lot of money to you, then don't join. If $60 is a lot of money to you, then like, I don't know. I don't know, like to like really make something out of crypto. If $60 is a lot, I think I don't know if you're even really invested. I mean, just to be honest, like if $60 is a lot of money, I don't know what you expect to get out of crypto. You know, again, it doesn't have to be my community. Go to somebody's. You know, if you don't like me, fine. But if you think that you're going to sit here and do all this stuff alone, like you are massively cheating yourself. Which risky coins do you have? Cal, because of the questions you asked, I like don't want to tell you because you seem like the kind that's just going to go ape. And what's interesting is I could tell you what coins I buy and we could buy them on the same day at the same price. And I end up making a ton of money and you end up losing your ass. How is that? Well, because our intentions and understanding when we went in were different. I know what I'm buying, why I'm buying it. I know what it feels like. I know how to gauge it. I'm very informed. But if I just tell you buy this coin, you're more than likely just going to lose money because you don't even know why you're in it. Eventually, you'll see it one day and be like, I don't even remember when I bought this or why. Whereas I'm tracking it every single day. I've been tracking it since its inception. I know exactly what's going on and why I'm in it, when to sell, when to get out, stuff like that. Moodang, I would pass on Moodang. I think that's a dead community, but I haven't checked in a while. That was one of those, at the moment, make a ton of money, get the fuck out things. But see, like in the community, those are things I elaborate on, Cal, right? In my exclusive streams, I'll run through the coins and I'll really dive into why, and I'll talk about them on repeat. I'm not trying to hide them from you. I'm trying to not have you guys go ape shit that you don't even understand why you're buying it. I would say just spend your time really paying attention and don't drink Kool-Aid. Let data speak to you, not bias and cults and Kool-Aid. That's my opinion. Do I have to say not financial advice? Because duh, it's my opinion. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm wrong about shit all the time. But the thing is, when I'm wrong, I try to minimize the pain. And when I'm right, I try to maximize the gain. And I can be wrong way more than I'm right, which I am, but I position it and manage this stuff in a way that I control my downside and I maximize my upside. So I can be right a couple times and wrong 100 times, but still make a ton of fucking money if I balance all of that correctly. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up here probably pretty soon. What other questions or comments you guys got? Were there any other charts I wanted to show you guys? Showed you the mining cost chart. Showed you fear and greed. You know, one place I think a lot of money could come from into the crypto markets and all markets is right here. These are money market funds. So this is what I was talking about. Like when I say I sit in stablecoin and get yield on my stablecoin, like I'm just following the playbook of the biggest money on the planet. Like that's what they do. And they let it sit there in a money market fund accruing interest until they're ready to deploy it into the market. Right now it's at an all-time high, of course, over $7 trillion. Cash, yield-bearing cash just sitting on the sideline waiting to come in. So will it, won't it? I don't know. Use ChatGPT. I use it if ChatGPT is like your financial guide. I don't know, man. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but I'd rather talk to experienced humans. What about Kappa? Any good yield plays while I wait for altcoin bull run? I don't know what Kappa is. Caspa? I don't know much about Caspa. I don't use Caspa. I mean, my DeFi course, I go through Ethereum and Solana-based stuff because that's all I use, and a little bit of Hyperliquid stuff. That's it. And even then, Hyperliquid is Ethereum-based. It's on the Ethereum virtual machine and interacts with Arbitrum, which is an Ethereum layer 2. But my DeFi course, I just go through Ethereum and Solana stuff. Because that's all I use. That's where most of the money is. Like, by far, most of the money is in Ethereum and Solana networks. I believe there would be more big boys and less retail with higher prices this time around. Maybe. Could be. Definitely could be. If you haven't hit the follow button, be sure to hit that follow button. And turn on notifications so when I go live, you know. What else could we talk about today? I'm going to plug it one more time. There's that link, dailycryptobull.com. If you want to spend more time with me, have direct access to me and other serious investors, as well as get this nice juicy bonus that's available for a limited time for a little teeny tiny $60 a month. If you want to invest $60 in yourself, I just don't know, man. But there's the link. Exclusive streams, all that stuff. Again, if it's not my community, go get somebody's paid community, because a paid community is like many levels above free communities. Free communities are just noise and clutter and fuckery and jokesters. But paid communities, those are serious people. They pay to be there. Very small percentage of people will actually invest in themselves. Are you someone that invests in yourself, or are you someone that doesn't and just wastes a bunch of time, tries to get everything for free? I don't know. What do you think overall market conditions? Do you think altcoins go up nowadays to the end of the year? I mean, how? No one knows. No one knows. I can just work in realms of probabilities and possibilities. You know, best case scenario, which is possible. I could see the altcoin market cap go up to close to 4 trillion. I could see that, which would put Bitcoin and Ethereum somewhere around 8 to 9, which is crazy. And that doesn't seem right either. No, that's about right. Which would put Bitcoin at about 6 and ETH at about 2, or 5.5 and 2.5. Best case scenario, that could happen. That would put the total market cap at 13. I think it's more possible that it hits about 8 trillion, which is about a little over 2x from here for total market cap, which would put Bitcoin probably around 230 to 270. Again, don't get all excited and get boners like, oh my God, it's gonna happen. Oh, I gotta buy more. Like, chill the fuck out if that's happening to you. Most of us, all of us, by far would do well to maybe do 2 or 3 moves a year. That's it. Because you gotta wait for the conditions to be so obvious there to lower your risk and also maximize your reward. If people will just wait for the right conditions that are not emotion based at all, that they're just data chart showing, you would crush the shit out of 99.9999% of investors on the planet, not just in crypto, all investors on the planet, if you'll just have the patience and learn where the setups are. Would you like to know a good, easy way to know when those setups happen? Put a 1 in the chat. If you'd like to know a really good, easy, notifying way to let you know when those setups happen. Put a 1 in the chat if you'd be interested in that. No one wants to know that. Interesting. Do you do ETF? I do not. I don't do ETFs. I'm just a good old-fashioned crypto coin guy. A good and easy way to know when that shit happens is to just go right here, because I'll be telegraphing it very clearly to my private community over and over, and we'll discuss it a ton. Duh. Because guess all I'm paying attention to is I'm just waiting for the setups. I'm patient, I'm patient, I'm patient, I'm patient, I'm patient. I wait. Oh, it hit the line. Oh, fear is super low. Oh, Bitcoin is costing less than it cost to mine. All of that shit, check in the box. I'll be screaming in my Discord. Look. I'll put on exclusive live streams, bring them in there, talk with everyone, shit like that. And when it gets super duper high, where Bitcoin price is way above the cost of mine, when greed is really high, when the other metrics and data that I look at show me clearly it's super fucking risky to be in, it's time to sell, telegraphed right there in my community, and everything in between. But most of you will choose to just keep going on doing it by yourself. I don't know, man, doing crypto together, I don't know, I'll say, it's just a lot better chances of winning. But $60, that's a lot of money. What else do we got? I don't do ETFs. Because even the stuff I share with you today, like, you're gonna forget most of it. I'll repeat it over and over, you're still gonna forget most of it. Because you'll go on and listen to other people, a bunch of noise, and they'll share their projections with you, because that's what you want. You want projections, and so people will make content on projections because it gets the views. I don't make shit like that. I'll never get the most views, because I share what I think is actually important only. It's just the truth of it. Ooh, let's check in on the news today. Oh, this guy says this, because you need that bullishness injected in you. You need that predictive. Oh, I heard someone say it's going to go to 500,000. Oh, like what the fuck? Based on what? Do you even understand? It's just hopium. Get off that drug. Get off that drug and start looking at data. Start learning how to look at data. Use intelligence instead of drugs. What's up, Antonio? It's a fact. So that's the kind of shit I beat into my community. Like, we're looking at facts. We're looking at data. We're looking at things that are the truth to help us gauge probabilities in a much more accurate way than listen to some dude on a YouTube channel, ironically, giving you his predictions, where whether those are his real predictions or whether he knows how to make any kind of intelligent prediction at all doesn't matter, because he's just making the content so that you'll watch it because that's what you want to watch. So you thereby are your worst enemy, your drug addiction to the bullish hopium. And then in the bear market, your addiction to the fear porn. Oh, this shit's gonna go to $5. Oh, what's that? And I'm like, based on what, asshole? Show me where you came up with that. And they can't. So if you want to deal with drinking coffee and being sober, go join my fucking Discord. Or somebody's. But make sure they're not a hopium drug dealer. Thanks, Greg. I don't know. It just drives me nuts. It just drives me nuts. The people will go blow like $1,000 on some new meme coin of the day. But then I bring up something logical like, hey, you know, $60 a month, you can hang out with me, an 8-year crypto vet, who you're also watching on YouTube and TikTok and stuff, and talks pretty data-based, and you can be in his community of other people that are serious and pay to be there. Huh. No, you better keep that $60 and keep spinning your wheels with all the hopium. Oh, he's also giving away a $500 DeFi mastery course as a bonus to join. $60 a month? No, I better just keep spinning my fucking wheels. I need that hopium. That's the truth of it. Like, I speak logic to people and I won't stop, but you don't want to hear it. Moments people want to hear it, but I'm for who I'm for and I'm not for most. There's the link again. Not that it's hard to remember, dailycryptobull.com. That's me most of the time. It's just trying to instill like logic. And we can, and illogical things can actually be quite logical, but there's still logic behind them. There's still order to them. Like, most people don't know what price is going to do. They don't understand what it does. I think it's just all a bunch of chaos and craziness. And there's actually quite a bit of order to it if you know how to look at it. And it just takes time. But most people will waste their time going from this stream to that next stream and the next stream and the next stream, and they'll feel like they're being productive, but they're not. They're actually going backwards because they just soak in so much noise, and they're addicted to soaking in noise and hopium. On the downside, sometimes they're addicted to soaking in fear porn, I call it. And that's the truth. Like, look yourself in the mirror, and you got to know who you are and what you're really doing. And you got to be able to look at yourself objectively, or else you're just like all the rest of the sheep out there. And make no mistake about it. Almost everyone out there is a sheep. Odds are you're one of them. But you can choose to step out of the herd whenever you want. But you got to actually step out of the goddamn herd, and it will look different than what you've been doing. I'm about $100 a month group. This guy is knowledgeable people. I like to make money. What's your best achievement in this crypto market? Can you tell us my best achievement? Being here for 8+ years. It's brutal. Like, coming out of 2017 into 2018 was like being, it was like being castrated. It was beyond brutal torture. And the 2022 bull market was tough too. But now like 2018, man. Oh, crushing. So just sticking around and learning through all that stuff, that's my greatest accomplishment, right? Oh, I made a bunch of money on a coin. Well, that's what you want to hear, but that's not the truth. Experience and sticking around and keeping going, that's the hardest thing. Thanks, Greg. Now, what else should we talk about? I'm kind of winding down, I suppose. I talk about a lot of the same stuff. It's just checking my dashboard, you know, and then revisiting ideas, seeing how are they holding up. Well, yeah, everyone wants to make money, but you know, you got to spend money to make money, right? So if you can pay someone to leverage their experience, duh. But most people won't do that because they want to get rich for free. And reality, you get what you pay for. But yeah, everyone's here because they want to make money. This is all a game. But most people treat it like a true casino, and they're just hitting slots, and there's no rhyme or reason to it, and they just hope that it's going to hit the jackpot. And in 2017, much easier to do back then. Even 2021, it was harder than 17, but much easier than today. We are in a very different environment. Getting rich quickly in crypto is, I'm just going to say, impossible. So I think people setting their expectations more reasonably, more accurately is very important. And I don't feed that hopium to people. I mean, I'll show you my high-end possibilities, but I show you the low-end possibilities too. And right now, we're closer to the low end than the high end. Will we ever get to that high end? I don't know. Will we get somewhere higher than here? Probably. Where? I don't know. It's open space. Where's it going to land? Where's the first wall? Where's the final wall? That's exactly not a casino, where casino wins always. Well, most people in crypto by far don't make money because the house wins. Whereas if you want to win, you can just buy Bitcoin and chill. You're gonna, no matter what, you just keep buying Bitcoin, you're gonna win. That's the only thing I can say that about. If you stay in stablecoin and learn DeFi and get 11% yield, you're gonna win. You're beating inflation, you're growing your stablecoin, and you're chilling. And then when the market pukes, you're ready to deploy because you were patient. You've been waiting for this moment. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh no. Phil Collins, baby. But to get to maybe something more specific, Cal, like over the past year, I've executed very nicely. I prepared in the bear market, not all my plays played out, but I executed nicely and I identified markets. I had a phone call come in, it always pauses the stream, but I identified opportunities and I moved from opportunity to opportunity to opportunity very nicely. And I am proud of that. It all really started with a number of things. But it started with me identifying Pepe and really doing the work and realizing there's a good chance this becomes the top meme on Ethereum, okay? Now, I didn't do that when it was brand new. I did the work, and then I realized, Pepe's got this boys club, Brett, Andy, and Landwolf. And if ETH is going to go up, Pepe's going to go up. If Pepe's going to go up, the boys club is going to go up. And everyone in the boys club is going to go up more than Pepe, more than ETH. And I identified, there were a bunch of Landwolfs. I thought, which one's going to go up the most, percentage-wise? And I was like, it's going to be Landwolf. But there were a bunch of Landwolfs. And I was like, which one's going to be the Landwolf? So I had to look for threads to figure out where the market was going to land. And I ended up landing on, well, the one that everyone would unanimously say is the winner now. But at the time, it wasn't that clear because everyone thought it was the Solana Landwolf. And they were like, purple character, purple chain. I'm like, I get that. But here's what I saw. I saw Pepe starting with the contract address 0x69. I saw Andy starting with 0x68. And I found a Landwolf that was 0x67 on the Ethereum. Pepe's on the Ethereum chain. That Andy is on the Ethereum chain. So it made sense to me that Landwolf should probably be on the Ethereum chain, although the winning Brett is on the base chain, but that's an Ethereum layer 2, so it's still in the same house. The original Brett is actually on the Ethereum chain, but you don't know about that Brett. That Brett, percentage-wise, has actually performed better than the base Brett. Do you guys want me to go on, or is this boring? Let me know. Because I can stop. Because I feel myself going on a bit. Let me know. Greg says go on. So I identified that, and I thought, that's probably going to be the winner. And then I dove into the socials. I dove into who's behind it, who the main players are, what is their kind of vibe? Do they actually seem like extractive, or do they seem like actually missionaries? And they seem like missionaries to me. And so I'm like, that makes a lot of sense, and I think the market's going to come to that. And at the time, like my land wolf that I was seeing at 0x67 was at like a $10 million market cap. And the Solana one was like 200. And I'm like, I was saying on my live streams, right, to hundreds of people, thousands really, but hundreds at any given moment on TikTok. And I'm like, I laid that all out. And they're like, no, bro, it's the Solana one, because they're already invested in the Solana one, so they can't, they're biased and they don't have a real reason why. And I'm like, well, why? They go purple character, purple chain. And I'm like, okay, do you have anything else? They're like, no, it's this one, man. Look, it's already big. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't make any sense, because Pepe's on ETH, Andy's on ETH, Brett's on Base, which is an ETH layer 2. It doesn't make any sense that Landwolf should be on a completely different chain, because the boys club, they're roommates. Why in the fuck would Landwolf live in a different house in a different city? It doesn't make any sense. Plus we have the contracts tying up together, 0x696867. And I liked the community of the 0x67, so I kept coming on here, telling everybody that, and they would keep saying, no one would listen to me. And I'm like, my case is solid as hell. And maybe the Solana one keeps being the winner, but mine's gonna probably outperform it. Doesn't mean it's gonna be worth more, but it's probably gonna go up more multiples. You know, if it goes from 10 to 100 and your Solana one still stays at 200, well, I outperformed the shit out of you from this point. But what happened is the Solana one kept going down and down and down. They wouldn't admit it. I kept telling them that story over and over as their Solana one went down and mine started inching up, right? And then it started coming closer, and their Solana was like at 70 and mine was like at 50. And I'm like, it's gonna flip it. And they're like, no, it's not. And then it flipped it. They're like, no, it's coming back. And then it finally got down to like 20. And then they just stopped talking about it. They wouldn't acknowledge that I was right. And then mine went up to 300. I was like, I don't want to say I told you so, but like my case was solid, and you just completely ignored it and shit on it, and you had no case other than purple character, purple chain. Well, he's not purple. He's fucking brown. He just has a purple-ish shirt on. What the fuck, that's it? That's all you got? So I was very proud of that. And I also kept identifying Landwolf and Andy, and I'd keep swapping back and forth between them because the whole boys club moves together. Just a quick question. I'll keep going on, but do you think learning this type of shit, having direct access to me into these types of thoughts and shit like that, do you think it'd be worth $60 little a month? Just say it. How much would have you paid to have me showing that to you over and over in the Discord and talking directly to me about it back then? Be worth thousands, tens of thousands probably. Anyways, so what I did is I kept trading Andy and Land. Let me pull up a chart real quick to show you what that looks like. This is called pair trading. If I can get it to freaking come up. That's not good enough. Well, is it? Let me look. Okay. So what I would do is I would trade Andy and Landwolf back and forth, right? I identified a range, like this is the lower part of the range, that's the higher part of the range. So when this goes up, that means Andy is outperforming Landwolf, and vice versa to the downside, okay? So when it would come up here, now I knew I wanted to be in Landwolf because I knew Landwolf was going to overall outperform Andy, and that's what it's done because it's the highest beta in the boys club. Came down, bounce, came down, bouncing again, it's probably going to outperform Andy, which means this chart's going to keep going down, meaning that Landwolf is outperforming Andy. You may not even understand what I'm saying. Being around someone with experience might be worth $60 a month. So over here, when it would come up here, I'd swap my Andy into Landwolf. And it would come down here, I'd swap some of my Landwolf into Andy. And I kept doing that, boom, 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 boom. So I didn't spend any new dollars, but I kept accumulating more of the coin. Like look down here. Down here, it cost 1.7 Landwolf to buy an Andy. So that means Andy is worth more than Landwolf down here, okay? So let's say I have one Andy, okay? Well, excuse me, down here I have, we'll just say I have one Landwolf. And then up here, it comes up and I'm like, oh, that's a good spot. Well, guess what? My one, let's say this. Down here, let me get all the way down to the bottom box. Maybe it'll give me, right? So right here, it costs 1.5 Landwolf to buy an Andy, okay? So this is actually a good time to swap into Andy down here because Andy is undervalued compared to Landwolf. So I would take my, let's say I take my 1.5 Landwolf and I swap it into Andy. So now I have one Andy down here. Do you guys understand that? If I have 1.5 Landwolf down here, I can swap it into one Andy. Put a 1 if you guys get it, if you understand that. Because right here on the chart, it costs 1.5 Landwolf to buy one Andy. Yeah, Antonio, it's only silly cards. Yeah, I don't know how to enable crypto payments on a website. So no one's following this. No one's responding. I can't go on unless you guys understand that because the next piece is crucial to your understanding. Does everyone understand that? This is the Andy versus Landwolf chart, right? It cost me 1.5 Landwolf to buy an Andy. Think about it. Ethereum's at, say, $4,000 and Bitcoin's at 100,000. How many Ethereum would it take to buy a Bitcoin? 25. Because 25 times 4,000 is 100,000. So at this current price value, it'd take 1.5 Landwolf to buy one Andy right there, okay? And now it goes up to the upper part of this range and I'm like, well, that's pretty good. Because I swapped my 1.5 Landwolf into one Andy. And as I went up here, well, guess what? My one Andy is now worth 3 Landwolf. Whoa, I'm gonna swap back into Landwolf. So now I started with 1.5 Landwolf and now I have 3 Landwolf. Swap that, comes back down, I have 3 Landwolf, but now it only costs 1.7 Landwolf to buy an Andy. Well, down here, you know what? I'm gonna take my 3 Landwolf and swap it into Andy. That's gonna give me, just for simplicity purposes, it'll give me 2 Andy. And then as it comes back up, my 2 Andy, each Andy is going to buy me 3.3 Landwolf. So now my 2 Andy is getting me 6.5 Landwolf. I started with 1.5 Landwolf. Now, without spending another dollar, I have 6.5. And I kept doing that in this range until eventually we came here and I thought, you know, I should probably just be in Landwolf. And I went all in on Landwolf and then boom. And I sold that shit. I'm not kidding you. I sold it on January 4th, right here. And I telegraphed that very well in my Discord. And they knew that was a big decision for me because I'd been harping on Landwolf with all my data, all my reasoning, not my hopium and Kool-Aid drinking. And it had played out so beautifully that I said, and now I'm going to sell it. And you guys know how hard of a decision that is for me, but the market looks like it's running out of momentum. And no shit, within like 2 days, the whole market started fucking falling. And then Trump launched his coin and it sucked a fuckload of liquidity out, which I really benefited a lot being in Fartcoin then. I sold it too early, but whatever. Took my profits, doubled my money in like a fucking day. And I've been following this ever since. And so during this whole drawback, I've been accumulating Landwolf. It's come all the way back down. Let me pull it back up here. This is just Landwolf now. This is just Landwolf. I literally sold my fucking Landwolf right. That was the peak, December 11th. Got all the way up to $300 million market cap. I sold it right here at just a little over $200 million market cap, around 200. So I got about 2/3 of the top. I'm fine with it because I had accumulated a fuckload for an average cost of about like, I don't know, $15 million market cap, right? I made like a fucking 15x. Awesome. And then rode down and I started accumulating it back here because how did I know? Because it came back down to this goddamn, well, first of all, I had a diagonal line here. So I started buying right here. And then I noticed the sideways line and I started buying down here. And I bought again down here because that's when the tariffs ended. Excuse me, this is when the tariffs ended. I bought there. And then I bought when I came back because this line had now been established. So I bought more down here. So I'm way the fuck up on Landwolf again. And I think Landwolf will get back up to the upper part of this channel. And if it does it by the end of the year, if that's how long it takes, I guess, then that would put us, up here at about $600 million market cap. Is that going to happen for sure? No. But check this out. This top was June 11th to December 11th. So July, August, September, October, November, December, so 6 months, right? So 6 months from there would have been about here. It didn't happen in that rhythm because we had this kind of double bottom. But I think eventually this does come back up here and it could happen. Maybe it happens by the end of August. That'd be great. But right now it's sitting in this channel somewhere in kind of no man's land. I think it will at least come up here. But if it comes back down here, I'll buy. See, I just watch. This is, to me, a very strong support zone where the risk reward is fantastic. And I just wait. Because I know eventually it's going to come back up here. And why do I know that? Because Pepe. And really, because of Ethereum. I know if Ethereum goes up, Pepe is going to go up even more. And I know if Pepe goes up, the entire boys club goes up with it, even more than Pepe. And I know Landwolf is the highest beta, meaning percentage-wise, multiple-wise, it'll go up the most. Understanding what beta is very important. So I have a lot of Landwolf, again, at a much lower price. Sold it within 30% of the top, I guess. Not bad. Not bad. And now I bought again at dirt devil prices. And I just wait. And the other coin I have, that's my Ethereum. That's my biggest Ethereum position. And then I have a position in a meme coin on Solana. And I think the community just makes so much sense. It's such a big potential community, and it seems to be the leader to me, and I've been following it and in it since its inception. And I could have made a lot more money from it. Wow. It's actually one of those that like went like 300x. And I was in it before 300x. But my allocation was very small because I was still investigating. Happened to me with Turbo also. I was in Turbo at like fucking 6 million and it went to like $1 billion. So that's like 100 some X. But I had a very small allocation. Mostly because I kind of just forgot to buy it, which sounds stupid, but I'd been tracking it and I don't know. Do you think there would be a time when altcoins go up in the future? Yeah. I think Goat's best days are probably behind it. Chill Guy is interesting. Chill Guy is interesting because it's ethos, it's culture. Because meme coin, we call them meme coins, but I think we would do better to just think of them as culture coins and throw out your thoughts of dollars and value and just look at the community and really the cultural offering, right? Like, you know, I like NFL football. So I'm going to gravitate towards NFL football culture. Regardless of money or its dollar value, I'm going to gravitate towards it because I like it, because it makes sense, because I'm interested in it, because I feel aligned. I enjoy it. That's what I mean by when you look at communities, you got to look at the culture, you got to look at the ethos, you got to look at how much do people want to be there regardless of what it's worth. If it were free, they would still just pay to be there, you know? And the chill guy thing, I haven't done enough work on it, but it's one that I feel has a really good shot. Let's pull up chill guy real quick. Okay, let me try to find a really good chart. Maybe that one. Is it only that old? Did it only come out in November? Did chill guy only come out in November? Anyways, this is the chart I have pulled up. So chill guy, this was its top at like 67. So I think that would have been about, is this the only, I'm gonna do this. Maybe it comes on Radium better. No, that's about right. Came out in November. This is how much Solana it's worth. So I guess that's it. Let's go back to this. So yeah, so its top was right here. It looks like it was about 700 million. And then it came all the way down to about, 17 million, 18 million. Wow, what a drop, huh? Let that be a reminder. That shit went down 97.5%. That happens in crypto. And you gotta remember and you gotta fear it. Remember, when that shit is high, wherever it's at, that shit can go down to almost zero. Even if it's super fucking good. And chill guy's pretty good. And then what did it do, right? Bounced from a low of, I don't know, 18 million, bounced up to 100 million. That's a pretty nice return, about a 5x. And then it came back to about 43 million. And now it's sitting around, looks like about 68, right? And that line, it came down to right at the top of those. This is probably its real strong support. This is a bit of a deviation, but it could continue. Let me pull up I keep forgetting to mention, when you join the Discord, you also get access to my my custom indicator. And look at how nice this calls stuff. Like, look, once it gets up here, things get risky, starts to get oversold. This is very high. And then right here's the real signal. This is what's called the divergence. And then down it goes. We have another divergence right here, up it goes. Now, this one called the divergence here, a little bounce. Yeah, it's too new to really look at it like that. But here's the one that really started to show. Plus you can see the money flow, that's this red line, starting to curve and the wave starting to curve. So this was a pretty good signal to buy. And if you would have bought at 28 million, you would have been pretty happy. Did it go down lower? It did, but you could have just added to your position, which if you were gonna buy here, you should definitely do here. And it got very oversold. Money flow was still coming up. And then the waves went really high, getting pretty extended. Good time to take some profit, because your average buy price probably would have been, about 25 million, go up to 100, you better take some off the fucking table. But it's gonna go up to an all-time high, bro, I can't sell yet. Don't be an idiot. Come down. So chill guy looks pretty solid to me. It didn't make a new high here on this move, showing some weakness, so I think it could roll over. I think a lot of the market is getting at a risk of correcting more, right? Because you can look at this too, like this. Like this little channel here. I think you could see this come down here. To me, that's probably kind of a buy. But you can see it go boom, boom again too, which puts you about right here, end of September, back down to 25 mil. But I think in the 20s for chill guy as a buy, If you can buy it in the 20s or even 30s or 20s, I think you're doing pretty good on Chill Guy. One other one that I think on Solana is really good that I have a little bit of is UFD. Anyone in here have Unicorn Fart Dust? Anyone have that coin, UFD? Anyone in here have that? Turbo has a really good story. And that's why, like, even when it came out, because Pepe and Turbo came out at the same time in the first half of 2023, I was like, you know, this Pepe thing seems cool, but I really like this Turbo thing because the story behind it was so good. And it was the first coin really created incorporating AI. But the story and the documentation behind it was just like so good. And I kept saying that to my community. I'm like, this is the one that I'm really looking at. And I didn't buy anywhere near enough of it. And I watched it go all the way down to like from 100 million to like 6-7 million. And I frankly was seriously gonna buy more, and I just kept forgetting to. And the next thing I know, it fucking ripped. Ugh. So Unicorn Fart Dust as a community, it is, as you can see, I drew this channel. I could probably pull it down a little bit more, I suppose, now that I look at it. You know, it got very high, had a nice top, pull back, and then it really went up into the whole Trump coin thing, which was a rare one to do that. And then it's really crashed down. Its high was about 420 million? Yeah, I think so. And it came all the way down here in April to about 15 million, right? So it came down, again, what's that theme? Like 96, 97%. How many of you got to experience what a 90, 95+% drawdown felt like? How many of you had a coin that went down that much at the beginning part of this year? Let me know in the chat. Let me know yes or no. And if it's a yes, let me know what coin it was. Be honest. Don't ignore your pain. I feel like almost no one's in here but Cal anymore. It's just 13 people, but Cal's the only one commenting. So I think their socials and their community, and they're led by Ron, who is literally ride or die, and they're so wholesome that I really like them. Now, if it comes back down here to the bottom of this channel, I'm a buyer. Even to this level, which would be a sideways. You know, anything under, really frankly, anything under 20 million, I'll probably grab me some UFD. But I'm not gonna force it. Do I think it's gonna go higher? I do, but I'm not gonna buy here. I'm only gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait until an opportunity slaps me in the face. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Oh well, there'll always be another opportunity. Pull up Turbo. Cal keeps bringing up Turbo. So Turbo's been around for a minute. I was, no joke, talking with my TikTok community about Turbo in 23. It launched, did really well, went down. I bought some here, and then I fucking forgot to ever buy any again. And I was watching. I was like, I want it to go under 10, and I'm gonna buy it. I think it was maybe even under 12, and I just completely spaced out. And there's no excuse for it. And there's been an upward trend ever since October of 23. I mean, look at that. I guess it did make a lower low here. So it was an upward trend from October 23 to December of 24. So for over a year, for about 14 months, it was in an uptrend, peaking out at, I mean, I'd imagine that's probably about 1.35 billion. And it came down, to about 140 million, right? So it came down like 85, almost 90%, and it's since bounced pretty good, doing a nice, from 1.4, bounced up to a top of about, did a nice 4.5x, something like that. Pretty nice. Turbo is good, but would I buy it here? No, I'm not buying it here. Right? You want to buy down here, especially when you start seeing these divergences happen, right? You see price going down, but the wave starting to go up. That's a divergence, calls the bottom, boom. Same thing happened here. You have a low and a lower low, price going down, the corresponding waves going up, as well as money flow going up. And then we get very oversold, and then you see a divergence to the downside. What happens? Boom, goes down. But you gotta wait. In my opinion, it's best to wait. To wait until the risk reward is just undeniable. Cal, I'm gonna be straight with you, man. I think you're a little too crypto bro-y. I think you're gonna hurt yourself. You seem too enthusiastic, like too crypto AP, and that's dangerous, man. That's dangerous. I'm just telling you, that's dangerous. It's gonna go parabolic. I don't say shit like that. And I find that people that say shit like that tend to have unrealistic expectations and get burned real hard. I'm saying it because I'd like to see you win. Moon Boy talk. It's fun, but it's painful. It ends up being brutally painful, typically. Ethereum will make a new all-time high. Question is how far. Will it go parabolic? I don't know. Meme coins should do pretty well. Turbo should do well, even from here. Probabilities heavily lie that it should do well. Will it go parabolic like it did? Maybe, but the funny thing about if that stuff happens and when it does actually happen, it happens very fast. And when something goes parabolic, it'll go parabolic for like a week, at most 2. And that's pretty fast. And that means you got to get the fuck out. So I hope it happens. Because if Turbo does it, then Pepe is going to do it, and all kinds of shit will be doing it. Landwolf will certainly do it. Landwolf will, if you think Turbo goes parabolic, Landwolf will go hyper parabolic. It's my thought. It's my thought on it. I don't necessarily expect things to go parabolic. I expect them to have outperformed gains in certain time periods, but I won't be selling tops. I will be selling before tops. Sometimes I get kind of lucky and sell the top. I forgot to mention that first time Landwolf went up, because it went up to about 150 million, I saw it really running out of momentum, and I thought, I'm up, because my average buy at that point was like 12 million, so I sold it. And that's when and then everything went down, and then I started buying Andy and Landwolf and trading them back and forth until I was ultimately mostly on Landwolf, and then it ran up again in November through January, sold January 4th, and cashed out. So I've just cashed out, really on Landwolf, I've made about 100x, because I ran it up over 10x the first time, sold luckily almost peak top, and then it came way down. And then I bought the bottom again, and then it ran up even higher, and I sold not the top, but within 70% of the top, which was another at least 10x for me. So really on Landwolf, I've made 100x this cycle through 2 different trades, through buying low, selling high, buying low again, selling high, and I'm looking to do the same thing again, buying low, and I'm just got to wait for it to run up again. And I'm not jumping around. So Landwolf is by far my biggest Ethereum play, and I only play in Ethereum and Solana ecosystems. I have Bitcoin, but that just sits in my cold wallet. I don't fuck around with that. So yeah, hope that makes sense. Hope that's helpful. All right, y'all. I should probably get going. I've been live between TikTok and this. I've been live, probably close to 3 hours. So I should get going. If you'd like to have more access to me and be in my private community and take advantage of this bonus, finally learning how to use DeFi and stop screwing yourself by not knowing it, go over here to dailycryptobull.com. It's only $60 a month. Be around me and other serious investors, exclusive stream. I can't, and again, if for some reason you don't like me or something, well, go get in someone's fucking community. Like, stop doing this alone. Stop. Just stop. You're not going to do better alone. You're not. Go leverage other people's experience. And you're not going to be doing it like you hop on stream, but and you think that's what you're doing, but really you're just adding a fuckload of confusion for yourself, and it's mostly a lot of noise. Like, to actually go talk with serious people on a regular basis to kind of have your clan, which isn't like super biased, it's pretty data dependent and open-minded. You got to find places like that, and whether it's my community or somewhere else, but you got to stop fucking around. If you really think you're serious, you got to get serious. So anyways, all right, y'all, I'm heading out. There's the link one more time. Take a screenshot. Not that it's hard to remember. It's, my handle.com, dailycryptobull.com. And other than that, I am out. See y'all.